Drayton Manor Resort is one of the UK's top theme parks and its future looks extremely bright. But the discussion always remains the same for any theme park. What will they open next? So in today's theme park prediction video, we're going to take a look at the potential future of the Drayton Manor Resort, look at potential new attractions and where they could go and much, much more. So stay with me, send your predictions in the comments below, and let's get into today's video. Strap yourselves in, buckle up and enjoy the ride. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is the Coast Chall YouTube channel, Doncaster born but built for theme park news, and today is a little bit different to the usual theme park news content that we produce on a daily or weekly basis. We are going to be launching the very first of our prediction videos on the new series, and again you can check out all the playlists, Coast Chall POVs, the predictions, lost rides when they start coming up on the channel as well, and our theme park newsroom playlist for 2025, which will be obviously in the channel already. And this is all about the future of Drayton Manor Resort. Now, Drayton Manor went through some hard times years ago. It was placed in administration. It was bought out of administration by the Looping Group that opened and owned well, I should say opened, but owned parks or owned parks such as Pleasurewood Hills, Bagatelle in France. And they've got a good track record with some of that, with at least most of their parks, if not all of their parks. So Looping Group are a very good owner of a theme park, and they proved that with Drayton Manor being the capital park of their whole chain, if you will. And it's very clear to see that Drayton Manor is the capital park. And today we're going to list some predictions as to what we think could happen in the future of the park now that they've opened some of their more recent attractions. Now, before we get started, make sure you do like the video if you've loved it. Comment down below your predictions and your attraction ideas, your ride ideas, any other ideas you've got. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you are new around here. We're on the road to 3,000 subscribers and 1 million views, which would just be unbelievable this season, especially since we restarted the channel in the last month. And for now, ladies and gentlemen, let's get straight into this video and predict the future of Drayton Manor. So this park was acquired by the Looping Group back in August 2020, and Drayton Manor since then has received fresh capital investment and a renewed strategic direction, and has since gone from strength to strength, becoming one of the UK's best family theme parks. But the £1,000,000 question is, what's next for Drayton Manor Resort? So I've gone with two things, a brand new roller coaster and a brand new flat ride, and I've picked out two sites for the coaster and a particular site in question for the new thrill ride or flat ride. So let's start off by predicting the next roller coaster at Drayton Manor. Gold Rush was a brilliant addition to the park back in 2024, replacing iconic flat rides Pandemonium and Apocalypse, but the discussion now turns to what type of roller coaster is next for the park. Now, it's very important to note that the target market for their big roller coasters is not the most extreme attractions. It will be catering for the family market, but also the thrill market as well, but they won't go too overboard in terms of layouts, theming, story. It won't be too dark, it won't be too out there as like a Thorpe Park would do, for example. So family thrill is the target market for Drayton Manor Resort under the ownership of the Looping Group. There are two main sites for development in terms of the possible new roller coaster space for the future, and both sites would mean we permanently say goodbye to two SBNO attractions that have been shut for many years now: Excalibur and Pirates Adventure. So first of all, let's talk about the site of Excalibur, the former slow-moving boat ride, of course themed around Castleville, with the onboard audio narration telling this story, this really in-depth story, some really good theming items around the ride, and I loved it as a kid. I went to Drayton Manor back in 2011 as a kid, and I got to experience Excalibur literally the year before it shut, so literally a few months before it shuts. And I loved that ride as a kid. I thought it was a brilliant attraction, a nice slow-moving family ride, and I felt it was perfect for the time for the park. But then the park moved on. They brought in the magical Christmas kind of experience, Santa's Grotto style experience in the main tower of the old Castleville theming. But now that area remains decadent and a bit kind of, you know, out there in terms of it's kind of alone and abandoned and needs some life injecting into it finally. And here are my suggestions for what I think could be going on the Excalibur site in the future in terms of if that's going to be potential roller coaster space. So the first idea is a wooden roller coaster. Now they've been impossible to spot in the history books of Drayton Manor Resort, with no past coasters of its kind built or removed. However, the park has an opportunity to introduce one of Gravity Group's family thrill wooden roller coasters in this location, as it delivers family-friendly airtime, contains classic roller coaster nostalgia, and is a fun ride for everyone who experiences the attraction. The family-friendly wooden coaster is perfect for Drayton Manor. It would go very long, it would be a nice nostalgic hint to the classic kind of heritage, kind of old age theme that, you know, Excalibur had with the medieval style. I think having a wooden coaster would pay homage to the medieval nostalgia and the classicness of the old attraction. And I think if you utilise the space very, very well, you could get a really good coaster. And if you go for the right style of layout that fits your target market, you invest in a fun-for-all attraction that's going to tick every single box. In terms of theming, we have no idea. I think with the Excalibur ride being in the areas it is, it could be an expansion to one of the other areas nearby, whether that be above the ride or below the ride. So it could be one or the other, but I would say that either way, a wooden coaster would be a perfect addition to this particular location. The second idea is a water coaster, and utilising the former lake of Excalibur would mean a nod to the previous attraction, explored through the idea of a water coaster, or even specifically, a particular new concept that's gone very well down in France, and that's the rocking boat ride. A much more recent attraction concept is that rocking boat ride, which combines a tracked system with special effects, immersive vehicle movement, and an entirely cinematic experience. And this particular version could utilise the vertical lift hill system, similar to Mission Bermuda's it's opened recently at Futuroscope as part of its layout, further emphasising the roller coaster element of the ride, along with any other sections of the track. A Mission Bermuda style attraction for Drayton Manor could be absolutely perfect. Now, do I think they'll invest the same amount of money as Futuroscope invest in their attraction? I don't think so. However, navigating the right price tag, and if it's not too OTT in terms of spending, I think that a Mack rocking boat attraction could be absolutely perfect, utilising the coaster track, utilising simulator style elements in the water. I think if you develop a really original theme for it, maybe based off Excalibur, could be a spin-off of the Excalibur story. We know how parks in the last few years have been revitalising and reimagining old attractions. Ripsaw into Toxicator with the suspended version at Alton Towers, Valhalla with its reimagining back in 2022, and the kind of new version or the reimagined version of the classic boat ride at Pleasure Beach Resort in Blackpool. You've got other rides as well. So for me, I would think that a reimagining of Excalibur with this Mack rocking boat ride system with coaster elements as well as simulator elements, maybe a dark ride section to pay homage to a former element of Excalibur. I think that, and if you theme it as well to spin off the Excalibur story, I think there's a really good idea there, and there's a really good opportunity there from a creative standpoint. So I think a Mack rocking boat could be perfect for Drayton Manor. Now, the second coaster site is Pirates Adventure. Now, this sits adjacent to Thomas Land and the Castle Zone, a gateway area with a strong footfall and visibility, and replacing it offers Drayton Manor the opportunity and the chance to revitalise a key part of the theme park. Looping Group's 5-year strategy has already delivered new zones like Frontier Falls, new coasters such as Gold Rush, flat rides and area enhancements, and Pirates Adventure's removal could be the next step. Now, Pirates Adventure is a unique story because there's two very specific things you can do. You can tear down the building, or you could reimagine the building, whether that's utilising the same building and just building stronger foundations and building a stronger structure of the building to keep it upright and keep the building from, you know, not collapsing fully 100%, or you just tear the whole building down and you build a brand new building in its site, which I think is the more ideal scenario. I think you just tear the current building down and you build the building back up again with a new building if you're going to do an indoor coaster. So the opportunity is there with that particular site to do either an indoor coaster or an outdoor coaster. So my outdoor coaster idea is a Vekoma suspended thrill or suspended family coaster, similar to rides such as Tripsdrill's Hell's Uberkopf or Flight of the Pterosaur at Polton's Parks. You can either have the thrill version or the family version. And Vekoma's family suspended or suspended thrill coasters could be thematically versatile and demonstrate a broad appeal for the park's audience. And this particular type of coaster has the potential for both inverting and non-inverting layouts, a new theme for the area, and the addition of unique elements elements for a UK roller coaster, which also fills the gap of a much needed suspended roller coaster in the park's coaster lineup. I've seen plenty of videos of these suspended family or suspended thrill coasters, especially the modern up-to-date versions, and I would say that something like this would be perfect for Drayton Manor. We've seen Poulton's Park, they're going to introduce a coaster with an inversion in 2026 with Drakon, the Gerstlauer Eurofighter, or Gerstlauer Eurofighter as part of their new Valgard Realm of the Vikings area, where Cobra is, where Edge used to be now, where Magma used to be now, and the go-kart she's been removed for. And I do honestly feel that a suspended family coaster or even a suspended thrill with an inversion could be the direction to go here for Drayton Manor, as it's kind of your big coaster. It's up there with the Wave. You've got the Wave, and then you'd have a suspended thrill coaster as your two kind of inverting attractions. So, you know, you've already got a coaster that goes upside down, so why not build a second one to really give the teenagers a couple of options? So for me, I think that either would be fantastic investments. A suspended family coaster would be perfect for the target market, but I also think a thrill version with one inversion or two inversions could also be good for the park. I think it would be a really good, proper top end of the thrill scale addition for the target audience of Drayton Manor Resort. And I think that having a modern Vekoma in the park would really set the park different, because there's not many modern Vekoma roller coasters in the UK. So I think one of these would be perfect, especially thrill coasters. And I think Drayton Manor could be onto something if they build a suspended thrill coaster, especially over the suspended family coaster. The second idea is if you build a brand new building on the site of the demolished building of Pirate Adventure, and this would be a dark or hybrid coaster. Something like the Mack Rides Dark Hybrid Coaster, or even something like Movie Park Germany's multi-dimensional coaster, the Movie Park Studios attraction, could be perfect. If you go with like an Arthur at Europa Park style version, they could be suspended beneath the track, and it's a motor-driven attraction, meaning no gravity or lifter is needed, also combining special effects, immersive theming, and track-embedded control to slow down the experience and tell the story the ride is intending to tell. But something on the track, like a Movie Park Studio style attraction or a Mack version of that, could also be perfect. I think a dark hybrid coaster is absolutely perfect regardless, and I think that I love these type of rides. I think it tells a story, I think it leads you on, I think there's plenty of different versions. I mentioned a couple there. An intimate multi-dimensional coaster similar to 13 or Movie Park Studios, for example. You've got the Arthur at Europa Park version, which is the Mack inverted power coaster. You've got things like Dark Coaster at Busch Gardens Williamsburg in the United States, which is a straddle coaster in a building. It's got a very unique layout where it passes over it a couple of times, 2-3 times, and different elements inside that building. And I think, again, theming, story-wise, you could go off the Richter scale with this one, but keep it within your family thrill target audience. Could it be part of the Frontier Falls area as a second phase? Could it be part of Thomas Land? Again, it would be all up to the creative team at Drayton Manor to decide that. But either way, I think this could be perfect for the park. Finally then, let's talk about what could be a brand new flat ride for the park and predict what type of flat rides the park could look at adding. Now, original plans discussed earlier this year included the relocation of the iconic attraction Flying Dutchman to Adventure Cove by the Air Race, making room in Frontier Falls for a round platform ride. Now, of course, Flying Dutchman, as we're recording this, has not yet been relocated or is even prepared to be relocated. However, we'll keep our eyes peeled on that situation just in case. So there is some area there in terms of a potential new ride, or you go next to Air Race and you plonk a flat ride there if Flying Dutchman isn't going to be relocated. So either way, whether that news is going to happen or whether it's just early plan talk, let's have a look at some potential flat rides the park could look at adding. A couple are similar to each other, but there's some variations there as well. So we start off with the Huss Enterprise 2G or 2GH model. Now this type of ride is a classic spinning flat ride, originally from the 70s, where you have the enclosed cars rotating on the disc that gradually lifts upright, creating a vertical looping motion. And back in 2015, they released the Enterprise 2G, the second generation, and the 2GH hybrid redesigns, along with the 2GH Plus equipped with a unique tilting mechanism. So this is a reimagining of a classic thrill ride, and Drayton Manor's had an Enterprise ride before, but I think that a second generation or a hybrid tilting mechanism version of this classic attraction could be a really good nod to the past if they theme it up very, very well with the area in which the ride could sit in. The second type of ride is Zamperla Endeavour. It's the modern take on the classic Enterprise ride, a suspended platform attraction. It's re-engineered with modern technology, and riders seated in individual two-person open gondolas at the end of radial arms. It is available in 24 and 48 seater layouts, so if you wanted a steady capacity, you go with the 24. If you wanted a bigger capacity, you go with the 48. So it's versatile in footprint as well as the capacity, and it combines nostalgia and modern design, making it a great option for parks looking to enhance their flat ride mix with something crowd-pleasing and compact. The third style of flat ride is a Zamperla Gryphon attraction, which would work very well in the location. And this particular ride is designed to have a central rotating hub with 12 arms, each carrying 2 pneumatic suspended gondolas and 1 ride per gondola. Now, this particular ride includes dynamic motion, combining circular rotation with gondolas swinging from 10 degrees to 100 degrees, reaching up to 6 meters, which is 20 feet high. And the attraction designers intended Gryphon to invoke the charm of classic carnival swings with a modern, more intense twist. So any of these 3 attractions would be a classic nod to the former Enterprise attraction of yesteryear, and it would pay homage to Drayton Manor's history, and it would introduce a new high-tech modern thrill to the park. So either one for me would work in the Flying Dutchman plot of land, or if the Dutchman wasn't relocating, it would work next to Air Race, or it would work somewhere else in the park. But I think that one of these types of rides could be a perfect new flat ride or non-coaster attraction for the future of Drayton Manor. With plenty of question marks and loads of excitement, the future of Drayton Manor Resort is very bright, and here on Coast to Chall YouTube channel, we're going to be keeping an eye on everything the park will do in years to come. Thank you all very, very much for watching this video. Make sure you do stay tuned for more prediction videos in the future. We've got plenty that we're going to try and plan and try and put out there as soon as we possibly can. Obviously, we've got to time it right with all the theme park news, because theme park news is the priority on this channel. So we've got to put out the news first, and then any quiet news days, we'll try and put out some other videos such as Lost Ride videos, theme park prediction videos, and all sorts of content, both long and short form. So stay tuned for them. Go and check out the POV as well that we did of Mischief Mansion at Flamingoland Resort a couple of years ago. Make sure you stay tuned for more of them down the line as well. And for now, ladies and gentlemen, I am the CHALL, Doncaster born, built for theme park news. Keep living the coastal life, and I will see you in the next video very, very soon. Take care. Have a Drayton Manor-tastic day.